Good morning, everybody. How are you? Welcome back to the Spurs Talk Show. You know who I am, Shawnee Butler. There's Bugsy Malone, also Bugsy Butler, according to the vet. How you doing? Hope you're all happy and healthy, doing the things you love. Please do me a favour, guys. Smash the like button for me on the video. If you would be so kind, smash the subscribe on the channel. If you haven't already, insane numbers the last couple of days. Like, absolutely incredible on that watch along. Everybody that was coming in who hadn't subscribed smashed it. We ended up having like 80% subscribers that were watching by the end. Absolutely madness. So keep it up, guys. Keep it up. Hit the notification bell and drop a comment. Let me know your thoughts on today's topic. And guys, today's topic is all about today's game. Because you know why? It's game day! Game day at Tottenham. Massively important. The final game of the pre-season. 2 days since the last game. The last game we haven't really spoken about, and you know, after the immediacy of the game itself. And I was having internet issues and everything else. But to me, I think that the level of performance in that game was really, really impressive. I think there were so many positives. I think we finally played an opposition that, okay, are not the same as they once were, but are still a frequent member of the Champions League, 32. They have got some very tricky players, and we absolutely dominated them like we've dominated the other two. Obviously the same problems exist. You know, the ratios of shots to goals from us, ridiculously healthy amount of shots, 30, 32, whatever it's been for the last 3 games. And we're starting to get there with goals, 5 goals a game. So like 1 in 6 shots it takes to get a goal. But defensively, the same problems exist. It seems like another team needs maybe 1, 2 or 3 chances before they're going to score a goal against us. And I guess in my mind, look, I think a lot of the issues, if I'm entirely honest, are stemming from Ben Davies playing on the left side of the centre-backs. I just don't think he's good enough positionally. I don't think his timing is right and his pace isn't there to help him get out of trouble. So I do think you're going to improve on some sort of percentage points of recovery when he gets taken out and Mickey van der Ven gets put in. But I do think that also, his performances have shone a light on the vulnerabilities of playing the high line unless you have pace. And that's why I worry a little bit about what's going to happen today off the field, if there are in fact conversations scheduled for talks regarding Lo Celso and Clement Longley. There's supposedly other conversations booked in as well. Tottenham were looking at Ansu Fati. I don't think that's possible or plausible or even necessarily necessary anymore. It's more of a January link that was still bubbling up over the course of the last few months. But we'll see what happens. Something will probably take place today. What won't take place is we won't see the same 11 in all likelihood that we saw on Sunday. Time for the other guys to get some minutes. I think we're going to see a weaker team against a stronger team in Barcelona. It'll be very cool to see the likes of Frankie de Jong, the likes of Gavi, those sorts of players. I mean, they got a team of maybe not world class. Barcelona are not quite the team that they were a few years ago either, but they're going through their own rebuild. They've got their own financial issues, but there are some absolute superstars in that squad. So I personally would have liked to have seen the stronger 11 that we have, whichever that is in Ange's mind, playing today rather than against Shakhtar. Because I don't think we learnt too much more. Like I was saying, you know, if we got a 1 in 5 conversion, 1 in 6 conversion at the right end of the pitch, but a 1 in 2 conversion at the wrong end of the pitch, that's kind of what worries. It's been the worry, hasn't it, against West Ham? It's been the worry against even the Sailors. And I think it still became the worry against Shakhtar. That said, as I said on Sunday night, long of quite a few drinks over the afternoon on Savage Show, I was quite confrontational. which I shouldn't have been, but it is what it is. I said, like, you can't really expect too many other things when you don't have a perfect defence, but you are trying to play this high line. There's consequences to playing high possession ball. You're not going to create 30 chances if you leave your centre-backs closer to the 18-yard box. You have to pick one or the other. We're going with aggressive possession-based football. When that happens, you're going to get hit over the top, and that's what Shakhtar's left-sided centre-back did with absolute ease and high levels of accuracy 6 or 7 times during that game. But it makes, again, the call for taller players with superb speed to be absolutely necessary in order to reduce the impact of those moments. Those moments will happen, they will always happen. It's what do you do in those moments and how do you benefit from it? And it really comes down to me having, you know, a 6 that can gallivant across that open space, and centre-backs or full-backs that have got incredible amounts of pace and can handle those pressure point moments. I'm not sure that Ben Davies can. I don't think that Clement Longley can. And we will see what happens. I really just hope that Tottenham can find a way to, just for once, complete the window without having to possibly sell our best player. If there's any chance of keeping Harry Kane that's strong enough and probable enough, then I think you try and keep him. But if that means that you don't get a better centre-back than Clement Longley to come and give Van der Ven and Romero some help, then to me, I think the obvious option is still to sell Harry Kane for the right money and use that money to go and get a Laporte, who, for what it's worth, doesn't have the pace but has got the experience and knows how to get himself out of trouble. A Tapsoba, who is ridiculously tall and has the pace and the strength and also the experience and the positional astuteness. And look, there was someone else we've been linked with who, I don't know, a while ago, I reckon it must have been February, I was talking about this guy, Antonio Silva from Benfica. We've been linked with him. He's 19 years old. He was in the World Cup. Brilliant World Cup performance. Very, very highly rated. And you know with Benfica, they're a team that are willing to sell if the price is right. Benfica have got, I don't know, 2 or 3 new superstar wonder kids coming in from South America. One of them is a centre-back, so maybe there's a willingness to cash in on him. I personally think he's again not the finished article. No one is at that age, but apparently the links have started. I haven't seen it, but I've seen people on Twitter talking about it this morning. I think he's absolutely gravy. So if there's any chance of that happening for the right amount of money, then he is someone that's 18, 19 and can come in and fit straight into the first team, into rotation. He's pacey, he's strong, his positional strength is good, he's good in the air, and he's a really good player. But any one of those 3 would do for me. And like I say, if you can't get any one of those 3 or 4 without having to sell Harry Kane, then would you rather have a team that has Harry Kane this season, probably not next, but also you have to deal with Clement Longley this season? Or would you rather have a team that doesn't have Harry Kane in this season or next season, but that has, you know, one of those centre-backs? For me, like it's not the perfect option, but I think you have to choose the latter and secure your defence, because I think Tottenham have got enough goals in them even without Harry Kane. This system will provide enough opportunities, and the players that we have around Harry Kane are still very, very good players. There's still bags of goals in there. Obviously Harry Kane is, you know, on a different level, but I think you just have to think more about the team, more about the future. And you know, I don't necessarily think we're always going to be able to create 30 chances to score 5, but I think we're always going to be conceding 5 or 6 chances, and at the current ratios, then we'll be conceding 2 or 3 goals a game in the Premier League very quickly without some substantial and significant improvements in that centre-back spot. I know we've got Mickey Van der Ven to come in, but again, he's not ready. He hasn't learned the system yet. He didn't play that system at Wolfsburg, so he's going to take time to adapt and to adjust. And the season opener is right round the corner. He hasn't even officially been unveiled yet, I don't believe. Neither has Ash Phillips, so both of these two won't get any minutes today. I would be astonished if they got some minutes today in Barcelona, which then leads you to make the decision, do you give them their debuts against Brentford from the start? And the answer is probably not. Which then leaves you with the assumption, guys, that Ben Davies is starting against Brentford. Which is scary. It's scary, isn't it? Anyway, so much to talk about. I don't know how long I've been going for. 10 minutes. I've got a couple more minutes of your time, and then we're going to remind you that tonight we're doing the watch along on the Spurs Talk Show. The show will start at about 5:30, and then the game starts at 7, and then we'll do the post-match discussion like we did last time. I'm probably going to split it up though into 3 different videos, and then just link them all, because the last one was like a 6-hour long video, and you know, it was a little bit mad towards the end, so we'll split them up into 3 different videos, so keep a lookout for that. 5:30 on the Spurs Talk Show, and we'll talk about if there's any incomings or outgoings. What do we think is going to happen with Clement Longley? Do you think Daniel Levy is just going to do the deal because it's cheap and it's effective and affordable? By the way, I also would say the fact that Daniel Levy wasn't at the Shakhtar game probably means the Shakhtar CEO didn't get his sit down, didn't get his ability to negotiate a fair and frank settlement on Manor Solomon. Oh, I know what I was going to talk to you about. I'll keep this brief. I've been saying on the channel, I don't think the front 3, I'm worried about the front 3. I was worried if Harry Kane's the perfect fit, or not that he doesn't fit the system, because Harry Kane will fit any system, but are you going to utilise him to his full potential if you're going to ask him to play the role of the 9 that is more of a sacrificial lamb? Of course Harry Kane can fit anything and adapt to anything, but is using him in that role the perfect way to use him is more of the question mark. And I was saying Sonny, don't know if he's still at his best level. I think he's on the downturn. Does he suit the system? And Decky as well. I was like, same sort of question. I tell you what, Decky specifically, I think showed something. A lot of people were talking about Decky, saying you either didn't think he contributed, and the stats massaged his numbers. He got 2 assists and 3 key passes, lots of shots on goal himself, unlucky not to score. All that stuff is true, and in the second half he was way better. But where I think I learnt a lesson about Decky on that game was actually watching him in the first half. In the first 35 minutes, his willingness to press and regather the ball and use his strength, I think, went under the radar. Well, at least on my channel. I don't know if other people were talking about it on their watch-alongs or after the game, but I don't think I noticed it properly during the first half. It was only when I watched the game back afterwards that I noticed it more. And I think that you have to remember, if you're judging players' suitability for the front 3 in this system, then a not insignificant part of that consideration has to be their ability to do the things off the ball, to regather the ball, to retain possession or regain possession. And I thought that Decky showed a really high level of desire when it didn't work out with him on the ball, when the ball was lost, when there was a misplaced pass from Pape Sarr or whatever. He didn't sit there and throw his hands up and think that that was his job done for the moment. He fought back into the game and got the ball back several times, and I think that that is something that we need to keep an eye on and remember, because that is the role of those forwards when we don't have the ball. So fair play to him. I actually think he put in a really good shift. On the second time I watched the game, I was quite highly critical of him in the first half, but actually I got it wrong, and I thought I should probably come out and give that an acknowledgement. I still feel the same about Sonny. I still feel like he doesn't do enough off the ball, and I think he was good in moments. I feel like a couple of moments here and there, there was a couple of good passes that led to shots and things, but all over, for the 90 minutes of the game, or the 80 minutes of the game that he was in the game, I just don't think he showed as much desire or willingness or creativity as some of the other players, like Maddison. I thought was just spectacular. So, I really want Sonny to figure it out, because he's always been one of my favourite players. I love the guy, and I only critique him as much as I do because I know how capable he is, and he's my favourite. Well, he always was my favourite player. and I want him to get back, but I just look at him recently and think something isn't quite there. But we will see. We shall see. Guys, that's it for me. There's no other news, no transfer news to get stuck into. We'll talk about Longley later. We'll talk about Ansu Fati, Gio Lo Celso. Do you want that man to disappear out of the club to go to Barcelona? There's rumours, 30 million quid. I'm not sure. Don't know. We'll have to keep an eye on him as well. Guys, let me know your thoughts. Like, subscribe and comment. Share the video as well. And as always, bye bye.